A Rockford man's in custody after officers say he robbed a fast food restaurant. The additional charges he faces after a police investigation.
Plus, honoring fallen service members, how one school program is now connecting veterans with students.
And investing in the Forest City. The visit from one Rockford native highlighting local infrastructure projects.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm David Greenberg. Before we get to some of those stories, do want to let you know a man is in the hospital after a weekend shooting.
This happened early Saturday morning. A little after 3, Beloit police were called to Dewey Avenue for reports of a disturbance. There, officers found a man shot. He was taken to the hospital for treatment and at last check was in stable condition. Police say the shooting is an isolated incident and there's no threat to the general public. A Rockford man's in custody after police say he robbed a fast food restaurant. Nathaniel Brown is charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon by a felon, possession with intent to deliver crack cocaine, and a warrant for armed robbery. April 30th, the Popeyes in Auburn Street was robbed. Brown was identified as a suspect and taken into custody last Thursday. That's when officers say they found over 29 grams of crack cocaine and ammunition. Brown's being held in the Winnebago County Jail.
Thousands of dollars are coming to the state line to help train police officers. 17th District Congressman Eric Sorensen and Senator Dick Durbin were in Rockford today, joined by Winnebago County Sheriff Gary Caruana, announcing more than $800,000 in funding towards a new police training center right in downtown Rockford. The facility will be used to train state, local, and federal law enforcement officers. Sheriff Caruana says this funding will go a long way to keeping state line officers ahead of the curve.
It's almost like muscle memory that your mind is going to go to your training when you're under stress. And a lot of times they're under stress and they're going to do the right things. They're going to provide the proper safety for our community and themselves when they're properly trained. If we don't train and continuously train and stay state of the art and cutting edge on training, we're going to be left behind. And I'm not going to let that happen to Winnebago County or our region.
The new facility will roughly double the space of the area officers now train in.
Attorney General Merrick Garland pays tribute to America's men and women in uniform. He kicked off National Police Week with a visit to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Garland placed a wreath to honor the dozens of officers who died in the line of duty last year. The commemoration continues tonight with a candlelight vigil where the names of the fallen, including 5 from the Chicago area, will be engraved on the memorial's wall.
Local high school students honor fallen members of the military. The Grateful Nation project hasn't been done at a school in Illinois until today.
6 students were given a chance to research and tell the story of a military member lost overseas. Jess Lipson was there for the presentations. Jess, how'd it go?
Well, Mimi, David, it wasn't just fellow classmates they shared with, but veterans as well. Each student was given a fallen military member to research and present on. It's part of an initiative called the Grateful Nation Project, done all over the country. It shares stories of fallen war heroes, hoping to keep their memory alive. Durant High School is the first school in the state to do the project.
That really got the kids to look into these different fallen soldiers and really get to understand that they were just like them. You know, they lived and breathed, they worked here at the school or students here at the school, and, you know, they had lives, you know, and then they went off to fight for our country and our freedoms, and, you know, unfortunately, some of them didn't come home.
Later at 6, we'll hear from one of the students as he explains the importance of his research. David?
All right, looking forward to it, Jess. Thank you. Well, Medicaid recipients are now receiving renewal letters in the mail. Governor J.B. Pritzker is urging those who are qualified to complete the forms because pandemic-era protections are about to end. He says Illinois has worked hard to keep Medicaid customers enrolled during the year-long unwinding from the continuous coverage requirement.
Other states used the starting of redeterminations as an opportunity to push vulnerable residents off of their Medicaid rolls. They didn't want to have to pay for them. Here in Illinois, we took a very different approach. We examined every covered person, followed all the rules, and worked assiduously to maintain health care coverage for as many eligible people as possible. That required processing, contacting, and tracking 3.8 million.
Pritzker says Illinois has a 73% retention rate, which is one of the highest in the nation.
A new study shows almost half of all cancer patients and survivors surveyed have debt, despite nearly all of them being insured at the time. The American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network looked at responses from over 1,000 patients and survivors. Almost 50% of those surveyed are in debt over $5,000. Nearly 70% have had the debt for over a year. Black and Hispanic patients with medical debt are around 2 times as likely as white patients to be denied care because of their debt. A mobile app that's used to operate insulin pumps is being recalled. The app in question is version 2.7 of T-Connect, offered by Tandem Diabetes Care. The Food and Drug Administration warns a problem with the app could drain the insulin pump battery and cause it to shut down. The problem is blamed for more than 200 injuries. The FDA says a simple update to the app should fix the problem. Users who may be impacted are being notified.
Millions of dollars are coming to support housing here in Rockford. Rockford Housing Authority receiving more than $6.1 million in funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Capital Fund program. The money will be used to enhance the quality of public housing facilities. Improvements will help bring sites up to contemporary standards of safety, comfort, and sustainability. In total, more than $150 million from HUD are coming to support housing initiatives all across the state. Well, Rockford native Dr. Kimberly McLean is the Assistant Secretary for HUD's Congressional and Intergovernmental Relations. She's met with elected officials to highlight HUD's Thriving Communities Technical Assistance Program. The program provides funding for infrastructure projects. McLean says HUD's focused on providing more opportunities for affordable housing in the state line.
Everybody hears that housing's unaffordable. It can't be solved. I would argue that it can be. I think that as we as a nation continue to remain committed to one another as human beings and committed to the journey and ensuring that we have affordable housing and access, then we can't go wrong.
Later in the day, McLean visited Tortilla Express in downtown Rockford. Restaurant was awarded with a community block development grant from HUD.
The star witness in Donald Trump's New York fraud trial takes the stand.
Up next, how lawmakers are reacting to Michael Cohen's testimony. And coming up at 6, discussing Rockford's housing market, what business leaders and elected officials are doing to combat a shortage of inventory.
We've had a few showers and thunderstorms, primarily producing some really heavy rainfall and some small hail move through parts of the area. For others, it's been a relatively dry day, but we'll hang on to those showers, find out for how long in the First Warn forecast a little later.
Today, a star witness took the stand in the criminal trial of former President Donald Trump.
His former lawyer, Michael Cohen, testified about key details in the hush money case. Washington, D.C. correspondent Hannah Brandt has the highlights.
It's a potentially pivotal week in the trial of former President Donald Trump, as his ex-employee turned enemy takes the witness stand.
I'm innocent. This is a political witch hunt.
The former president is charged with illegally falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments that his former lawyer Michael Cohen made to an adult film star. And on Monday, Cohen took the witness stand, testifying about several instances where he paid people off to kill news stories to protect the 2016 Trump campaign. And Cohen directly implicated Trump, at one point telling the jury, quote, "What I was doing was at the direction of and benefit of Mr. Trump." The defense team calls Cohen a liar, and close Trump allies are vocally echoing the attacks.
Does any reasonable, sensible person believe anything that Michael Cohen says? I don't think that they should, and I actually think that his testimony is going to hurt with any reasonable juror.
Senator J.D. Vance says he came to court to support Trump, and Senator Tommy Tuberville was also there to express his confidence in the former president and his path to re-election.
He's got more support than ever because what they're putting him through in that class, in that courtroom.
But both the lawmakers and the former president himself have expressed frustration that he's stuck in the court rather than out on the campaign trail. In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
Oh, some scattered showers now moving to the state line.
After the break, Candace tells us about our chances for thunderstorms tonight. That's coming up.
Now, Your First Warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, we're starting to get some rain showers move in across the Rockford area. Had some heavy rainfall to our south and southeast and some lighter rain showers working through. Same thing out in Poplar Grove as we take a live look with our SkyTrack camera here, looking kind of to our east and southeast. Those rain showers coming in had some steadier and heavier rain come through parts of the area. In fact, a couple of thunderstorms that produced not only some heavy downpours in a short amount of time, but they were fast moving. So no real big threat of any flooding, at least in the short term, but also some frequent lightning and some gusty winds and a pretty decent looking shelf cloud too as it approached portions of DeKalb, Boone and McHenry counties. Now those showers kind of moving a little further there up to the northeast of us, stretching from Highway 20 back out through McHenry County, now lifting just up to the north from Woodstock out through McHenry, and this will continue to lift to the northeast into southeast Wisconsin this evening. We've got some steadier showers still extending back off to our west now, right around Cherry Valley down through New Milford, and Genoa picking up on some steadier rainfall too. Again, the heaviest of that now beginning to lift up to the north. But what's really neat with this, you can actually pick out an outflow boundary from some thunderstorms that formed to the south of us, which really did enhance some of the storms as they moved from Rochelle northeast towards the Esmond area. Our weather watcher Ken down in Esmond said had 0.8 of an inch of rain and some really heavy downpours come in. So that's a pretty good amount of rain with these thunderstorms moving through. But it was that outflow boundary that really helped to kind of enhance some of the storms. And there's also a little boundary coming in off of Lake Michigan, which is why we've seen an enhancement from Waukegan right through McHenry of those thunderstorms moving into northeast Illinois. So kind of neat what you can pick out on radar. Now there are some additional thunderstorms lifting up to the north and then some scattered activity back out here to the west. We are not expecting anything severe through this evening, but any thunderstorm that comes through is going to be capable of producing some pretty heavy downpours in a short amount of time. And if those thunderstorms move over the same areas kind of repeatedly here through this evening, there may be some localized flooding concerns, but I don't think it's going to be anything too widespread. Now this is stemming from an area of low pressure down to the southwest of us. You can pick out that counterclockwise spin and actually a cold front sitting up to the north. So it's kind of doing a little squeeze play on some of that moisture here, which is why we're getting those heavier downpours. There were some gustier winds associated with some of those thunderstorms too, but generally speaking, our winds for the most part are fairly light, and we've had some rain cooled air. Now temperatures that were in the 70s now cooling off down into the 60s. I mentioned this before. I think Futurecast is kind of getting rid of the rainfall a little too soon here. So we're going to hold on to those scattered rain showers throughout the first half of our day on Tuesday. But then I think once we get into Tuesday afternoon, as that low pulls further away from us, we'll begin to see some drying take place. High pressure does build in throughout the day on Wednesday, so a return of sunshine. We should make it back into the low 70s for our Wednesday. Then we get a little more kind of unsettled, I think, as we look towards the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame. Temperatures will be warming during that time, but we'll also hold on to some showers, thunderstorms. We've got a couple of systems moving in from the west. So again, it depends on how all of those merge together. Not a washout at this point, but I think a good bet to hold on to at least a low end chance, about 30% at least through that time, and make some adjustments as we get a little closer to the weekend. But it does look like temperatures will be warming. I will say though, once we get beyond mid to end of next week, it does look like those temperatures may cool off a little bit here as we look towards more the middle to end of May.
Yeah, we're just going to focus on that 7-day right there. Nice warm up on the way, Candace. Thanks.
Scott's in next with sports. We'll hear from another Bears rookie who can't wait for the upcoming season to begin.
And the women's basketball program at Iowa is losing much more than just Caitlin Clark.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Now that they have rookie camp under their belts, the Bears draft picks await the opening of the Bears off-season organized team activities. They'll be thrown in with the veterans. And receiver Romo Dunze is ready. The 3 days of rookie camp only got him more fired up about playing for the Bears and playing with their other talented receivers and with Caleb Williams.
The mindset I think I want in a wide receiver room is everybody to think they're wide receiver one, and that's the mindset that I bring to a wide receiver room, and it's a friendly competition. At the end of the day, I want the best for the brother beside me, and I'm gonna run every route and do every concept to perfection.
Well, the Lions keep spending money now. They've given quarterback Jared Goff a huge deal, a 4-year extension worth an average of $53 million a year. That is second in the NFL, only behind the Bengals' Joe Burrow. Goff passed for more than 4,500 yards last season. More importantly, he helped the Lions win a division championship and get to the NFC Championship game. All the schedules for all the NFL teams for this coming season will be released Wednesday evening. We learned this much today. The opening game will be a rematch of the AFC Championship game between the Ravens and the Chiefs. It'll be played at Arrowhead Stadium. That game will be Thursday, September the 5th. Caitlin Clark keeps selling out arenas. Her WNBA regular season debut will be tomorrow night in Connecticut, and more than 8,900 tickets have been sold. It's Connecticut's first WNBA sellout since its very first game back in 2003. Clark isn't the only icon who has finished at Iowa. Today, basketball coach Elisa Bluter announced her retirement. She's been the Hawkeyes head coach for 24 seasons. She is the winningest women's coach in Big Ten history. Iowa's already named her replacement by promoting Bluter's longtime assistant, Jan Jensen. Now, LeBron James' oldest son, Bronny, has the green light to go to the NBA. He's been cleared by the NBA's Fitness to Play panel to play ball. Bronny James had that scare last year when they discovered he had a congenital heart defect. James will participate in the NBA's draft combine this week in Chicago. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Your radar's been pretty colorful this afternoon.
You know, we had
Much different from yesterday when it was just gorgeous outside.
It was nice yesterday. We had a couple of showers kind of pass through parts of the area yesterday, but we made it into the low to mid 80s yesterday afternoon, and it was still warm today before some of the rain showers came in and then really started to cool us off. But yeah, we've got those scattered showers and thunderstorms that'll continue. There is a flood advisory that was just issued for portions of McHenry County with that heavier rain storm moving across the region. So some reports of some localized flooding up around that area. Now, temperatures tonight will drop down to 50. We're up to 65 tomorrow. We'll hang on to some of those scattered showers, at least for the first half of the day, and then dry things out, warming back up by the weekend.
All right. Thanks, Candace.
World News Tonight's up next. We'll be back here at 6.